Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I just want to address the elephant in the room, and that is that I got my hair done. I got half head highlights through my hair to try and lighten it for the summer. So my plan for the summer is to go blonder and blonder. So I really like the way that it came out. I think it looks really good. Quite frankly, my hair does need a wash today, so that's why I have curled it. If you guys are trying to figure out why I look different, this is why. For this week's video, I thought I would do another book haul for you guys because I have been buying a lot of books lately, as per normal. You know, what else am I gonna do? All of these books here are ones that I have purchased like brand new, full price. I tend to try and thrift and Facebook Marketplace as many as I can, but these ones here are just ones that I have struggled to find on Marketplace, or people are pretty much selling them for the exact same price as they would be brand new. I have a mix of different genres, so I have some fantasy, I have some mystery, I have some thriller, I have some Christian, I have some romance. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into this video. So to kick things off, I have got the last two books in the Inheritance Games trilogy. So the Inheritance Games is a mystery trilogy. They are written by Juniper Lynn Barnes. So I have the second book, which is called The Hawthorne Legacy. This is the only book out of the ones that I'm about to show you that I actually have read. And then the third and final book is the final Gambit as well. So obviously I can't really say what the plot of these is about, but basically if you've never heard of the Inheritance Games, sorry if I'm in a slightly different position, my battery just died. We are following Avery. Avery is like in high school. She's kind of alone in terms of family. She is struggling for money. Like, she sleeps in her car, she has like a part-time job that she works, she like relies on the meals at work because she works in hospitality, so she's like struggling poor. And then all of a sudden one day she inherits billions of dollars from this old rich guy who she's never met. In order to receive this inheritance and receive this money, she needs to live at this old guy's house, like in his massive mansion, with his entire family, because they all live at this house, for a year. And so it's kind of a mystery as to why she's inherited all this money. So she's working with the four brothers that are on the cover. There's a lot of like twists and turns. It gives like very Nancy Drew vibes, as like the house has like all these secret passageways. I really love all four of the boys. Like, they're all so different. There's a bit of a love triangle in the series as well. The second book was done really well. Like, you kind of got a little bit more insight, but nothing got solved fully. You definitely get more information in the second book, but obviously there's a third book, so it's not going to fully wrap up. But I am loving this trilogy so far. It is very fast paced. The chapters are also very short, so it makes it very quick and easy to read. You don't really have to think too hard either. So yeah, if you haven't read this trilogy yet, I would recommend that you do. Obviously I've only read the first and second book. The first book is obviously called The Inheritance Games. It feels a little bit bittersweet to be able to finish this trilogy because I started it like last month, I think, or the month before. Both of those books I just bought from Whitcoulls, which is a bookstore here in New Zealand. So the Hawthorne Legacy, I had a voucher, so it came down to $19. The final Gambit was $24. So next up I'm going to do a Christian non-fiction. So my church has started up doing like a little bookstore at church that have like a bunch of Christian non-fiction, and one of the books that was on my list they finally stocked, which is super exciting, and that is this one here. So this one is Gentle and Lowly by Dane Ortland. It just says The Heart of Christ for Sinners and Sufferers. I love the cover. I think the cover is so incredibly cute. It seems like quite a short book as well. 216. One of the ladies that's in my course that I'm doing for church, she is currently reading through this, and she said that it is definitely quite like content heavy, so she's reading it with a friend. So I think Phil and I are gonna like read through this together at some point. But it basically just talks about the heart of Christ, and I am just really excited to kind of delve really deep into that idea. Always love reading a Christian non-fiction alongside like doing my Bible reading and things, because I just feel like you get so much more information on topics like marriage or like God's character or Christ's heart or like about suffering and things like that. So there's so many different ones, but this was just one on my list. So this one here I believe was $25. The next lot of books I am gonna do together. So I managed to get my hands on the Eden's book series. This book series was on my birthday wish list to receive. I didn't actually receive it for my birthday, so I just went out and bought it because quite frankly I really want to read this series. There is one more book which I will explain a little bit more about in a second that has just been released, so I do obviously want to get that one. This series, I believe it's marketed as a contemporary romance slash thriller series. It gives very like small town vibes, and I believe all of the books are told from a different member in the family's point of view, like it's their story. So I'm really excited to read through this series. So I bought the prequel, which is Christmas in Quincy. These are also all written by Devney Perry. I love the covers. I think the covers are so cute. I'm just not sure whether I'm supposed to read this first or if I can read the other books and then read this. I'm not sure. If you guys know, let me know down in the comments. I feel like in my head it makes the most sense to read this first if it's a prequel, but I know things can have like real weird reading orders sometimes. I'm thinking I might read this at Christmas time to give me like the feels and all the festive vibes. And this one is quite short. Like this one is only 134 pages, so I could probably literally just sit and binge this for like a few hours. And then the first official book in the series is Indigo Ridge, and I have been wanting to get this book for so long, but in New Zealand you can only buy this online from Amazon, like the Australian Amazon, because it is published independently, so none of the bookstores up here in Ortland stock it. I even went to one that like has books by people that have been published independently and they didn't have it either, so I had to do an Amazon order for all of these. Second book is Juniper Hill. Third book is Garnet Flats. Fourth book is Jasper Vale, and then the fifth book that has just come out is Crimson River, and then they also have like a legacy story which I think is like the parents of all of these, which I do want to get my hands on, but when I ordered this, Crimson River hadn't been released yet, so I do want to do another Amazon order at some point. I think it was around like, because I also got one more book that I'm going to show you guys in a second, 150 for all of the books, and then there was like shipping on top of that, so I think altogether it was around $200. So I may as well stick with kind of like the romance aspect of things. The last book that I also got in that Amazon order is Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan. So this is Rachel Katherine's favorite book, and I love her videos. I watch her videos all the time, and so I really wanted to get my hands on this. I've just not seen this in any bookstores in New Zealand, so I thought I'd just order it online while I was ordering the other ones. This basically tells the story of Archer, who lives in this small town, and this girl moves to the small town for some reason. I think she just wants to like either have a break from her busy life, or she's quit her like busy job and moved to somewhere a bit quieter, and she comes across Archer, and Archer doesn't speak at all, and so I think they have like a bit of a run-in, and she just thinks he's like really rude and stuff, but then by the time she like talks like other people that are around this town, she finds out that it's not just because he was ignoring her, it's because he actually doesn't speak. So I think it's kind of like her being determined to like get to know him and figure out what's going on. I'm guessing there's like some sort of romance, obviously, if it's in the romance genre, and it literally says on the front that it is a love story. And this one has an exclusive extended epilogue, which is super nice, so I'm excited to give this one a go. And then I may as well stick with romance, so I picked up the next book in the Magnolia Parks series. So this is Daisy Haites, and this is written by Jessa Hastings. I love the old Magnolia Parks covers. Like, this is absolutely stunning, and I like that the back is like very minimal. So Daisy Haites is a character that like you see a little bit of in Magnolia Parks, but like she's not in it very much. I think she's only in it for like maybe 3 scenes tops, and this is just her book, so I'm really excited to like learn a little bit more about her as well. I think she has like a bit of a rough upbringing. Like, I'm pretty sure her brother is in a gang and is like the guy that like everyone is told to like stay away from and stuff. It's very interesting. Basically everyone in the Magnolia Parks world that they focus on is like hella rich, and so it's kind of like Gossip Girl but set in London. Money is just not a factor, wearing really expensive clothing, they're always going on trips. It is quite toxic, like it's a very toxic environment in terms of like the relationships and stuff that they have, but then they're also quite young, and even though I feel like people that don't grow up with money wouldn't act that way, I think because they come from money and that's the example that they've had from their parents, it kind of makes sense as to why they are the way that they are. But I know that not everybody likes this series, so if you're gonna read this series, definitely like do your research. I did really enjoy it, but it definitely was toxic, and it definitely was a situation that I personally would not want for myself, and I feel like a lot of what they were going through could have been solved with a simple conversation, but you know, needless to say, here we are. So there's 4 books in the series. This is the second one, and then the third one you jump back to Magnolia Parks, and then the 4th book you jump back to Daisy Haites. Now I really want to get all of the old covers while they're out because I really do not like the new covers. This book here I bought from Whitcoulls, was $38. So the Magnolia Parks books, like they're quite big. If I compare it to like a standard paperback, like you can see the size difference, so that's why these are always a bit more expensive. But I really like that the artists that designed these covers, it was kind of like their debut time to shine, which is really cool to know that this was created by someone kind of breaking into the industry. So next up I might do a dystopian. So I picked up A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. This is book 1 in the Scholomance trilogy. I don't have books 2 and 3 yet. I do want to get my hands on them, but as of right now I have just got this one here. This is basically described as like if Hunger Games and Harry Potter had a baby, it would be this kind of book. Basically it's like a school that they go to that they basically have to survive. Like them getting to their final year is the fact that they've survived the school, because everything in the school is like trying to kill them, and they're trying to like, I guess, learn, I don't know if it's wizardry or what it is that's in here, but they're obviously like trying to figure out a way to defeat all of the monsters in the school so that they actually get out alive. And I just find that concept very interesting. I love anything dystopian, and I love like reading about like a totally different world, or like a world that is like very kind of like similar to ours but like very different, if that makes sense. I'm really excited to read this trilogy. I feel like the reason I haven't started it yet is because I'm in the middle of so many series and I just want to finish a few of them before I start a new one. This again I bought from Whitcoulls, and this one was $25. I also like get into certain moods in like the week when it comes to like buying books, and I'll have like one book that I like specifically want to buy. And then last but not least we have fantasy. So I finally picked up the second book in the ACOTAR series. So I read ACOTAR for the first time, I think it may have been last month or the month before that, and I really want to continue the series. So the second book is A Court of Mist and Fury. They're written by Sarah J Maas, or Sarah J Maas depending how you say it. There's 5 books in the series. Book 4 is like a little novella, and then book 5 tells of like a different character to the rest of the series. But yeah, it is quite a chunky book. I think it's like 600 pages, which is a lot. I've not read a book that thick since I read Twilight. 624 pages. But recently I have found myself wanting to dive back into this world, and I also don't want to leave it too long, because I feel like if I leave it too long I'm gonna forget all of the like magical creatures and like what their powers and stuff are. So I am excited to go into this. I know this one is a lot of people's favorite, and then the third book, which is I think Aqua War, is a lot of people's favorites as well. This one again I bought from Whitcoulls, and it was $23. And then the last book that I have for this video is actually again another fantasy book, and it is one that I just bought last week, and that is Twin Crowns. Now this is written by Catherine Doyle and Catherine Weber. This is basically like following 2 sisters and 2 tribes, I think it's called, or like 2 groups of magical beings, and they made a treaty with each other that the king of one land would pass one of his daughters over to the king of the other land to get married to that king's son, just to keep the peace between these 2 lands. So she has been training her whole life for this particular role of like being a wife to this other king's son. Then the father decides from the land where the daughter is being raised, that he actually doesn't want to send that daughter. He wants to send his other daughter over who has no training, and so she gets forced to go over, and the original sister who's been like training to go over her whole life is like, oh well actually I wanted to go over, and so now she goes over to try and rescue her sister and bring her back. I love the cover of this. It is just stunning, like absolutely stunning, and the back is like stunning as well. Like it's just so magical, like the spine. There is a second book to this as well, which is called Cursed Crowns. It has a pink cover. I really want to get that one as well. As of right now, I just have got the first book, and as of right now there are only 2 books that have been released, but there is a third one that is coming. I'm just not sure when it's being released. I'm guessing that you get to read from the 2 sisters' point of view because there's 2 authors for this book, so I'm guessing one of them writes one sister and the other one writes the other. But this book here I bought from Wickles, and it was only $23 as well. So there we go guys, those are all of the books that I have picked up brand new recently. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will do another secondhand book haul as well, which I am currently in the middle of planning, so that won't go up anytime soon, but it will be going up at some point within the next couple of months, so stay tuned for that. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Please make sure to turn on the notifications and check out my social media. It's always linked down below in the description box. If you guys want to watch any more like book related videos, I have created a playlist called Reading, so I will leave that playlist down below and in the eye if my cards are working, so that you guys can go and check out some more content. If there's anything specific you guys want to see, or if you guys want to see me like reading any of the books that I have on my shelf, I kind of wish I'd done a video filming ACOTAR. I thought about it, but then I was like, nah, I'll just go into it, and now I kind of wish that I'd done it. Leave that down below as well. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I shall see you guys in my next video. Bye!